Mara Kincaid had always been a practical person, raised on reason and science, believing every question had an answer. But her beliefs unraveled the day shadows began following her. It started subtly with flashes of movement in her peripheral vision and flickers of darkness where they shouldn't be. Then a high, constant ringing in her ears emerged, similar to the distant whine of an old TV. Initially, she attributed this to stress and the relentless city life. Too much coffee, late nights in front of screens. However, her symptoms worsened, rather than subsided. A heavy weight pressed against her chest, making breathing difficult. She often woke up gasping, soaked in sweat, her heart racing. The shadows grew bolder, no longer confined to the edges of her vision. They reached out, stretching unnaturally long across the walls, moving without any light to cast them. She sought medical help, blood tests, MRIs, neurological scans. All results came back normal. "You're healthy," her doctor declared, suggesting perhaps exhaustion or anxiety was to blame, even proposing sleep paralysis for her hallucinations. Mara, frustrated, insisted that it wasn't sleep paralysis. She was awake when she saw the shadows move. The doctor offered anxiety medication, but she refused. Pills were not the answer. She was certain the shadows were real, and something was watching her. That night after her appointment, she discovered her grandmother's journal, not by intention but by chance while sorting through her late father's belongings. In an attic, inside an old wooden box labeled Kincaid, she found the journal. Its cracked leather cover enclosed pages that smelled of dust and time, carrying entries from her ancestors, her great-grandmother, grandmother, and father. All of them had documented the same afflictions: the ringing, the exhaustion, the shadows. None found relief through doctors, priests, or healers. Reading the desperate, jagged lines written by her father, Mara felt a chill. He wrote of seeing the shadows not just in the dark, but in reflections, in the brief pauses between heartbeats. He regretted ignoring his mother's warnings about a family curse with no cure, hoping only that Mara would be spared. The entry ended, abruptly, with a smeared line of ink. Mara's father had died unexpectedly in his sleep at 46, deemed a heart attack despite no cardiac issues. A tragedy, a mystery. But now she understood he had seen the shadows too, and they had come for him. That night, Mara dreamt of the shadows. They were no longer mere observers. They whispered her name, their voices cold, insistent, and hungry. She woke to piercing cold and pain, unable to move as dark figures loomed over her, their shapes more defined than ever, flickering like cold firelight. Then, as suddenly as they appeared, they vanished, and the oppressive weight lifted. Gasping for air, Mara remembered the journal and a name that stood out among her ancestors' frantic notes: Eleanor Graves, a seer, a protector who had once aided her family. With no time to lose, Mara grabbed essentials and the journal, driving into the night with only a name and a haunting certainty of danger. The street lights flickered as she left, the air thickened, and a whisper urged her to run. She drove for hours, feeling the shadows just beyond the reach of her headlights. Searching for Eleanor Graves on her phone led her to an address 2 states away. With dawn breaking, she arrived at a decrepit Victorian house, seemingly abandoned. Hesitation lasted only a moment before shadows surged toward her as she approached the door. She pounded on it, pleading for entry. As the shadows nearly enveloped her, the door swung open. An imposing woman, Eleanor with a powerful aura, beckoned her inside. "Get inside, child. They've been waiting for you," Eleanor whispered urgently. Mara stepped in. The door slammed shut, and outside, the shadows screamed.